More Coming to America references.
Oh God, say it.
You know where Arsenio Hall goes, I was Joan of Arc in my former life.
I think this will be a common thread for
Yeah.
us. He would be so fun to have on. Here's why, too, because think about his career and his journey. He's definitely paved the way for a lot of people. Not everyone is nice.
No,
You
that's
know.
true.
All right, I just feel like I need to loosen up.
Yeah, loosen it.
We
Shake it
do.
out. I went to the chiropractor and got my physical
Oh,
therapist massage.
okay.
Very tight in my occipital and my trap. And if you don't know, your trap is all the way connected to your lower back. The whole thing is connected, as she says. I like this whole
Okay.
orthodox, sexy look.
What am I going to shul and then I'm going to do something else?
Little shul, little stoop,
A
little spit.
little shul, a little stuff. Oh, it fits.
Yeah,
I hope my sauna's back to working. Anyway, here's what's going on. I don't like the idea of someone cracking my neck.
I know. I know. It reminds me of the movie where someone just neck and then
Yeah,
kills them. One of the movies that scared me the most was the movie. Oh, what was that? Not Man on Fire. Man on Fire was Dakota Fanning and I think
I
Mark
watched it.
Anthony and Denzel Washington.
Oh, when she was a kid, you mean?
Una palabra. The music's so good. The music's
Really?
so
Wait,
good. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. All right, back to the scariest movie. It
okay, let me hear
was
it.
John Malkovich, Clint Eastwood. It was guarding the president, and he made that wooden bullet. Anyway, he breaks into this woman's house with the German Shepherd and just snaps her neck and kills her. That scene
Oh,
traumatized me for quite some
God,
time.
yeah. Okay, wait, I have a question. Is
Yeah, I have an
Miguel
answer. I have an
real?
answer.
Who's Miguel? Is he real or who is that
No,
person?
he's just a fantasy of mine.
Oh my God, okay, because I was like, okay, Miguel.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
know my taste.
Is Miguel your taste? I would say so, yes.
Me gusta mucho.
No, no.
Yo quiero más. I shaved under my neck, but I kept it a little scruffy. Do you see the difference?
Okay.
Sophisticated versus homeless. The barber gets so happy he wants to tape all of this. And then he first wanted to tape this. I was like, whoa. They love taping the forehead and then taking the razor, the blade.
I mean, I do clean line, so
When
like
they
the
do the
shape of
blade, I feel like I'm in Oz.
it.
Oz, the HBO series show, which was
That's
pretty
the
intense,
best.
by the way. Yeah,
It was super
and
intense.
very homoerotic.
Oh yeah, it really was.
Yeah, I guess
It was still for
I
the
guess prison
ladies.
wouldn't be that bad, right? Can you sit
Christopher
back?
Malone.
I'm supposed to tell you, as a friend and a co-host, less touching the nose.
I wish you didn't do that
I know,
because
but there's
now
a,
it's
it was a, it was a lot. There's been yeah. If you may want to blow
it's
it, pick it. You can go offline. You got 5 minutes right now. 5 minutes. I'll pick a booger right now. I'll go over there and pick it up. I can breathe better.
you and your obsession with the boogers.
Yeah, no me gusta los mocos. Unless they're
Okay.
Miguel mocos. Yo quiero Miguelito.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
No, we're not.
I like Miguelito. There is a Miguel
Yeah.
he lives in
Okay.
Boston. Ooh, Loewe tomato.
This is just a great scent, and I hope they keep it going. I hope they don't get rid of it. I think I can only commit to the smaller ones, and I still do the bigger ones of
Are you
this.
inhaling the PFAs or the garbage?
I am. You know what? If I am, I am. All right.
Womp womp.
Unlike stress.
Well, how can we de-stress?
I don't know. I need help.
I saw a flight attendant calm someone down with an anxiety situation on Instagram.
How? That's good. That's better.
Better,
Okay.
right? All right.
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
it
he
is.
is.
There we go.
Oh, we
No.
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One-sided.
We need an
Oh,
engineer.
that.
Terry, Jimmy, can you help us out over there?
How are you? I haven't seen you in forever.
I'm good. Not really forever, but it's been a while.
Really? When has it? I was trying to remember. This is
How are
Jason.
you? Nice to meet
Jason,
you.
just talk like you're not there. That's fine. We'll speak around you for a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
doing
that's
well,
okay.
Jason. It's a pleasure to meet
That's
you.
kind of the MO here. It's usually on this sideline. So, as Liz said in the last podcast, she's the main event.
That's the part of knowing Liz, though. You have to accept that
Oh,
you are, in fact, a sideshow. It's part of the charm. So once you're
oh.
comfortable with
Well,
that, then yeah, you're.
I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you.
Well,
I
we
think
love
you
the
say it
energy.
all. You already say it. It's from the outset. So
Where does this podcast find you?
in my office, at home,
In what
tucked
city are you
away
in?
in Georgia, in Ackworth, Georgia. It's a North
Ah,
Atlanta suburb.
Wow. When did you move? Okay, I want to get.
ATL, ATL.
Or I'm in witness protection. I'm not in witness protection. But we built a house here we completed the build. It'll be a year on June 24th. And that's when we
Wow.
moved in.
Awesome.
My wife has family here, and for the baby to be close and grow up near family, LA was always a production.
Yeah.
So we made the jump and made it back east. My family's still out east in Delaware and New York.
That was the prologue. That was
I
the
thought that was
prologue.
it. I'm ready to jump off. I felt like that was the.
All right,
No,
relax,
okay.
Jamal. There's plenty to do. All right, we got a
We
lot to
got a
ask
lot
you.
to go. Okay. Welcome back to Hustle and Schmear, the podcast where mixtapes meet market share. Today's guest is Jamal Jimoh, a man who moves culture forward with precision and purpose.
He has worked with some of the biggest talent and built a name for himself at the intersection of music, entertainment, and media. Whether he's leading strategy or mentoring the next generation, he's always a step ahead.
Not only is he a creative strategist, he's a brand whisperer, a community builder, and a master of the long game.
We talk about career pivots, dad life, knowing your value, building brands, and what it really takes to make it in today's world of music and entertainment. And we don't mean only fans.
All right, let's get into it. Please welcome to the pod the funny, the charismatic, the one and only Jamal Jimoh.
Welcome, Jamal.
Thank you. Thank you for that amazing intro. I don't know if you were introducing me or another guest, but it sounded really good. So very happy to be here. Thank you.
I know a little bit about you, obviously, because
And I have no idea who you are.
Yes. So I would love to have an intro. Where are you from originally? We heard you're in Georgia right now, but where did we find Jamal as a child?
He am from Queens, grew up between Far Rockaway, Jamaica, Laurelton, but full Queens, various parts. Full on city kid, young adult, close to failure to launch, but ended up moving 38 years into my tenure in the city and made my way out west. And now I am in the South. That's where you found Jamal throughout various stages of life and, some other
Wow.
unsavory spots, but for the most part, that's where I was. I went to school in Manhattan from 7th grade throughout grad school.
Where? Where were uptown, downtown? Where were you?
Upper East Side. I went to Hunter from
Oh,
7th
Hunter.
on.
Oh, okay. But is it private?
It is a private school in the public sector. So all
Oh,
the
okay.
private school, benefits or, depending on what you consider to be a benefit of
Right.
private schooling, but it was a public school that you had to test into.
Oh, yeah, I remember that actually. There was Hunter and there was like Bronx Science.
I mean, there's Hunter and then there's everybody else. But yeah.
Oh, don't tell my mom that. She went to Bronx High School of Science, and she thinks it's like the
I
biggest
respect
get.
it. My uncle taught at Bronx Science, and God bless his soul, I told him up until the day that he left us that
Okay.
he taught at a secondary institution at best.
Oh,
I let him know
boy.
that
Wow, Robin, I hope you're watching
Robin.
this. Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Robin.
You started at Island Def Jam, but what drew you into the music world in the beginning? Was music a big influence in your childhood?
music's always been a big influence. Grew up playing instruments, singing in choir and chorus, and doing band and all the stuff. My grandfather, by way of growing up around family, my mother's best friend's father,
Okay.
was a jazz musician and taught me
Oh, wow.
trombone and trumpet growing up. Played trombone and clarinet as a kid, so I've always loved music. Never wanted to play instruments for a living. Didn't
Oh.
seem like a way to get subway fare, much less a way to pay rent. Uh, so
Okay.
music has always had some draw, and it's always been there. Didn't want to wear a suit every day, and that seemed like an ideal field to go into as I got a bit older and got through schooling and was making those sorts of decisions and beginning to make those inroads.
Did you start? Did you have an internship or how did you first get?
I had an unofficial internship at
Okay.
thesource.com. I was an intern at
Oh.
Revlon doing trademark law, and my best friend was at thesource.com, and I would go and hang out at the source at their offices, and
What was the vibe there at that time?
I no longer have a memory. It was 23rd, and I forget what the cross streets were.
Oh, but so it was kind of
It
downtown.
was downtown,
Yeah.
Gramercy-ish area.
Was this late 90s? Like, who was big? What was
Yeah.
the big music back then when you're going to
Early
the source?
2000s. New York rap was everything. Coastal tensions were still high,
Okay.
and the independent spirit was thriving and flourishing.
What?
Is your hand
I'm
okay?
I'm a big Biggie, but I love Tupac. Tupac and I were born on the same day. Happy belated birthday, Tupac.
I was born on the same day as Dan Quayle. I'm not misspelling
Oh, but you
potato.
can't compare Tupac and Dan Quayle.
Dan Quayle's a much better rapper. But
We all know East Coast.
there we go. We're back. So a lot of the independent spirit was thriving, flourishing, and riding high. The atmosphere at the offices, it was cool as shit. Like, it was just really fun to be around. Eyes were wide. This was probably 2000. It was pre 9/11, and I was just hanging around. Didn't have an actual internship there.
What were the tasks that you were doing?
I rolled blunts. I rolled blunts, and I tried to help my friend's boss.
Speaking of,
Did you just have that?
yeah.
Why
That's
did you
what,
say words? Do they just magically appear out of thin air? Fair. But I would roll blunts for release parties and for issue parties and whatnot because
Okay.
I was really good at rolling blunts because college kid. And at the time had a head full of hair. It was braided, and my friend's
you had
boss.
braids,
I had
Jamal.
braids.
I don't think. Wow. Okay.
We're gonna need that B-roll,
We need
Jamal. We're
B-roll of that.
definitely gonna need that B-roll.
No. Those no. Mm-mm. Those
Oh, well,
photos
that's fine.
are destroyed for very good reason. I might still
B-roll.
run for Congress. I don't need
I
evidence.
have my ways, don't you worry.
So I would help this boss and would arrange for her to get her hair braided. I would like hook her up with the person
Yeah.
that did my hair.
Those were you going to
Going to
parties?
shows, going to parties, hanging out, getting free stuff. Yeah, enjoying the trappings without actually having to do the work. I
The
was like
work, right?
a
Do
plus
you remember in a show that like you were at and you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm here.
show per se, just because I've been to so many shows that they all just kind of run together. But I was at an issue party where the Youngbloods were on the cover of the magazine, and
Okay.
that was just a lot of fun. Or on the cover of the website, excuse me. They'd done a tandem launch. And I just remember that being a lot of fun. Not like, oh, this is what you go to school for. It's not what you go to school for. But it felt it felt like a moment of payoff in the midst of it all.
So you're in this pseudo internship, you're
Mhm.
rolling blunts, you're going to parties. Like, how did you then parlay that into your first gig?
I didn't. I got a little bit burned out. I worked, and music was just like a lot of sweat equity,
Uh-huh.
and I needed money equity.
Mhm.
So I worked at a hospital for a good bit, for a couple of years while finishing school at Woodhull Hospital in Brooklyn. Worked there doing education programs.
Uh,
And yeah, I did not get my first actual job in the music industry until 2005, where I
Okay, so
was.
there was a couple of years in between.
Mhm. And I was brought into IDJ, into Def Jam, as a consultant, like a long-term temp, essentially, doing new media. That was building out websites, like MySpace pages, social
Oh, wow.
networking, and social platforms,
For new artists that you guys were promoting?
existing and new artists. I put myself in a lot of top eights that I had no business being in. Pushed the top nav of the pages down a good 150 pixels. Put a music player up top or a banner or whatever have you. A lot of web design, early coding, HTML heavy, and the beginnings of understanding
Wow.
CSS. And
And how did you learn that? Did you teach it yourself? Did you take it at school?
I studied some in school, but just the beginnings of web programming.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I really learned was just by dissecting. My friend's like, here's a template. Take a look at it. See if it makes sense to you. It did. I started screwing around with it and making it my own, and would do designs for other unknown underground bands for cash and for artists who were looking, and
Oh, that's
did it for
fun.
the IDJ roster as well. Yeah.
How long were you at IDJ?
I was at IDJ for 5 years total.
And when you left, what was your title?
I was director of teen marketing. So overseeing the Teen Island family of websites, Teen Island, Teen Hollywood, Teen Music, Teen TV, doing ad buys, making sure that the websites kept running, making sure that news stayed updated, making sure that we were consistently promoting Justin Bieber and the other Teen Island acts.
So I guess I'm thinking of Justin Bieber, but who else was on it?
Schoolgirls, Christina DeBarge,
Oh, okay.
Aaron Fresh, and there were others who came and went, but they were the mainstays. Yeah, a great many of them were signed direct to Nick Cannon, so worked closely, and Incredible Entertainment, so worked closely with him while they were underneath that umbrella.
I remember you were working with Nick Cannon. Is that when you worked with him, or did you
Well, that
also
is a
work?
segue. I worked with him
Oh,
after upon leaving Def Jam as general manager for his Incredible.
What happened then?
Uh, Understood the general manager, touched
Okay.
all the parts of business that he affected, having some visibility and drift and sway
wait,
across
I want
those.
to understand. You were working in the biz for 5 years, grew into this director
Marketing.
yeah. And then how did you go from that? Because that to me is a pretty big jump
You would
from
think
that.
so. I
It
was
feels
an
like it.
assistant with a general manager title. Like it was effectively making sure Nick had some
Like,
tentacles attached to Earth.
role.
It was a GM role on
Yeah.
paper. In Billboard, it was a GM role. On business cards, it was a GM role. In bank account, it was not. It was a manager role. It did not have the salary commensurate with being a GM.
Experience wise, were you getting exposed to
Oh, for
a
sure.
bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah.
things?
It was at the
Mhm.
time he was everywhere. He was doing America's Got Talent. He was chairman of Nickelodeon and Teen Nick. So he had development projects and he was writing. He still had his connection in his business with Island Def Jam. And we were about
Okay.
a year in when Wild 'N Out made its return. And
That
now
was a
it's
fun
still
show.
on. And it's on an incredible run. Like it's still on air for the
Is he
little bit
still?
of
I think
TV.
he's still on it, or at least he's sometimes on it. But it feels like they have a lot of talent come out of there.
Yes, they do. It's a phenomenal talent incubator.
This is battle rap, right?
It's comedy. It's freestyle
Yeah,
comedy. Yeah.
with like rap.
There are battle rap elements, but it's freestyle
Yeah.
comedy.
I dream about being on Carpool Karaoke with James Corden.
Really? Jamal, what would be your song? And then
No, it's not what he sings. It's what artist would jump in the car with you.
well, who do
I
you
mean,
want
I've
to
won
jump in?
both. Queen Bohemian Rhapsody is my karaoke power song.
Liz and I met in the music industry. That's how we know each other.
Ah, how did you two meet?
We were both working at Sony Music. You were, yeah, we were on the same floor.
I was in A&R administration. I really wanted to be in A&R. And before that, I interned at J Records for a little bit. Liz was across the hall. I would go in
Business
there and bother
affairs.
her. What?
Yeah,
Business
yeah,
affairs.
yeah.
Jim
And then,
Olsen. I'm paying that Adele bill.
but I just remember at the time we had real offices. I had an actual couch with a
She had
TV.
a window.
I
She
had
had
a
a window.
window, couch, a TV, speaker. I didn't know how good we had it.
Corporate real estate days were magical days. I went
Right.
from Worldwide Plaza to the Viacom building and a cushy office space. And Viacom, my office had no windows, but it was well stocked and it was very nice.
Yeah. You guys have gratis? We had at the time gratis where you could pick the albums and you got 5 records a month or something. Did you guys do
At
that?
Def
Like,
Jam, we had a closet. Yeah,
oh,
you go and you
Just so you know, that's $50,
you
Liz.
find the product manager, you get or if you were like me and you knew where the cabinets were, you just did your
they
Christmas
were so
shopping.
stingy with it, I feel. I remember we had
That's
to fill out a form and it was really exciting. But
Sony's a
anyway.
bit more buttoned up than the Universal system.
So now you're with Nick Cannon. How long were you working with Nick?
5 years.
And
Yeah.
then it sounds like it was a long 5 years, but
It's just how I say 5 years. It's not there's no
Back in the day, there was no social media. You had to be in the scene.
so
How in the scene were you?
I'm grateful and blessed to have like come of age in the blog era. Was very close to a lot of the folks and so many of the folks who were at the various sites. They've become family and dear friends.
named
They know who they are.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna put their
yeah.
class. Just a little un poquito.
I
Okay.
was just in New York, and it's the real. They are my niece's uncles, the Rosenthals, Eric and Jeff, among others. But
Okay.
I only abstain from saying names because there's far too many to name. The networking that was done, essentially, you meet people at labels and you connect and whatnot. I was raised and always understood that staying at some place and being dedicated to an office was a sign of strength. I wasn't poached. I felt and dealt with a great deal of inner turmoil leaving Def Jam to go work with Nick and had some exchanges with some people that I reported up to who were like, we're happy for you, but he can't just come and steal our talent.
You're right, because back in the day, even more so than today, I would say, there was a corporate loyalty. You stayed at a company and that was seen as a badge of honor,
Mhm.
whereas now I feel it's more common for people to bounce around.
We are in an far more transient age where people can go someplace for a couple of months, they jump. Even pre-COVID, I feel this was the case. You stick it out for a year, it's not for you, you find something else. So I wasn't poached. I wasn't fired either, and I didn't quit. I just stopped getting paid. One day called his finance folks, and I'm like, hey, haven't seen a check come through. What's going on? Called me back and said, you'll get another check, but that's going to be the conclusion of your payment. And so that was it. Never any conversation. Very unceremonious. Felt a way about it in the moment.
You know who you are.
How do you pump yourself back? Because even if it's unceremonious,
it's still a shock, right? You still got the rug.
I was shocked. I was hurt. I licked my wounds for probably almost 2 years. It was
traumatic a little bit.
More than traumatic.
Back in the day, people cared a lot more about the company.
I'm also 5 years like actively investing in this business, like working through it. Like I don't want to speak ill on any experience, especially those that were formative. I did like what I was doing. Just kind of out of nowhere. We always can speak ill of them. It's choosing not to because they don't deserve that power. And without them, we aren't where we are today. So
true. But Liz and I complain a lot to each other.
Yep, it was upstairs from Lace. Not to be confused with Lace 2, which was further west.
Oh, but wait, Jamal, walk us through what the difference is between the two.
Between Lace and Lace 2?
Yeah.
Lace 2 has Bible study on Wednesdays.
Okay.
That's the only difference I know of. I don't know of any other differences.
I think part 2, we all go to Lace.
Oh, my
Lace
God.
might be closed.
Well, we'll find something similar.
Done. Done.
What would be similar to that, though? It's like not Vegas.
Rick's Cabaret.
What?
Rick's Cabaret.
I don't know.
Are you not familiar with the New York strip club scene and you worked in the music business and you're an attorney? You should have a Rolodex of New York strip clubs.
You're right. What's the one in the Bronx that's like
Sue's Rendezvous? I'm naming.
I've only been to one strip club in Vegas. I hated it.
It's terrible. Vegas strip clubs are just like Vegas hotels. There's too much pomp, too much circle.
A lot of my friends love to go to the strip clubs.
It's a game that everybody loses.
Yeah.
There is
after Nick Cannon, PNC, post Nick Cannon, what was your next situation?
That was good. I wanted to do work that I felt mattered, felt really drained, and quite frankly dejected. So I worked with St. Mary's Children's Hospital in Bayside, Queens.
So you went back to the hospital roots?
Yes, but in a different capacity. I was not an employee, this was a consultant. And it was helping them. They're completely publicly funded. They have no big private donors. So they count on the generosity and goodness of people. Had worked with them previously while working with Nick and got to connect with a couple of the folks who dealt in their fundraising efforts and overall marketing. And I went in and worked there for a little bit, just doing something that felt like a deeper contribution than working in entertainment and music. It didn't feel as depraved.
Is it because like you were at Lace one too many times and you're like, okay, we got to bring it back around. We've got to.
Well, again, Lace was Bible study. So no, Lace was actually like restorative.
Okay.
Too many release parties was.
Too many release. Yeah, like because you can kind of get burned out. You're like, okay, it's the same thing. How is this contributing to society? Like, all of
how many times can you have a crumbs cupcake and rosé champagne before your soul just feels depleted? So I did that for a little bit. Got a call from a mentor and former coworker to come join her at E1, where she was overseeing their music, and went and took on their director of urban digital marketing. Yeah.
That's fun.
What does a director of urban digital marketing do?
At the time, it was the early days of DSPs and people moving away from physical. So it was...
Can we get a definition of DSP?
Depending on who you ask, I call them digital streaming providers. So it's just any place where you can stream music is a DSP.
And was this the beginning of Napster? No. What was
this is like Spotify's rise to prominence. Apple
it was
Music.
Like very much Apple. It was like Apple Music and Spotify.
It wasn't Apple at the time. It was still Beats. Beats had an app, if you remember, that you could stream music on. So it was the transition from that into Apple Music.
I was always a Spotify girl. I didn't really explore. I remember downloading on Apple iTunes, but
Apple was just a storefront for a very long time, and Beats dealt with the streaming. So it was just the iTunes store, and then Apple Music became the app and the market for their streaming music. So it was doing partnerships on that end. Any place where artists could be seen and it was on a screen interfacing with them. So it was YouTube, it was dealing with the social networks, with Twitter and the like, and making sure their presence was strong. It was Vivo and so on and so forth.
What about Bieber?
So that was my job, day to day, making sure they had presence on all these platforms. And it was artists like Tamar Braxton, Wu-Tang, Game, Bills, always fucking shit up.
Bills.
As Howard says, fight the fucking checkbook over and over. My dad.
Oh, boy.
All right, I'll hit this.
The context clues were there.
Yeah. Were you loving this new gig because you had come out of a more meaningful role at the hospital? Was it feeling better?
I felt renewed. So I was enjoying it. It felt like a chance to dive back in, improve. And in the 10 years since I started my career, had learned a great many lessons. And it felt like an opportunity to start putting some of them into action.
Now that you're 10 years in and you're back in the music industry, something's changed. It's streaming. There isn't a precedent for what changed in the industry. Was it exciting and stimulating? Or was it challenging?
Exciting and stimulating because it was new for everyone. It felt like a level playing field.
Right.
So getting in and kind of having the opportunity to learn at the same or a similar clip was an
Like a
interesting
fresh start.
proposition. I was involved in finding more diverse ways for them to get paid and be visible. I was on the side of
Like
finding out how they
360.
exist in this brave
Yeah.
new world. So
Okay.
not having to deal with the crippling fear of the industry being decimated. That also made it exciting because I didn't have imminent doom just peeking over my shoulder. I was actually dealing with opportunity and
Right.
an open runway to create and to do and to make some things happen.
You said you learned a lot of lessons, that this was your time to relay them to others. But what were some of the lessons that you learned just being in the business?
Never take shit personally.
Mm.
The music industry and so many people in the music industry, people love the idea of fighting, but are afraid to fight. And it doesn't have to be a physical fight, but people love a demonstrative tone. They love power. They love being domineering. They love bullies. A lot of people in the music industry love being bullies, and not taking that personally, not taking any of the bluster and the attitude and the BS personally was an invaluable lesson.
How do you not take it personally?
Yeah.
What were some of the tips and tricks?
I've always just, by virtue of how I grew up, never took too much shit personally.
Yeah, but then how did you, for this next moment in your life, pivot?
Yeah, how'd you put that boundary up to protect yourself?
Some of it was therapy, and some of it was a good portion understanding that no matter what, I have to put me first. And if I'm not pouring from my well into my cup first, then I'm just draining myself of any energy and any strength and giving it to places that quite frankly could give a fuck about me. So I didn't want to love any company more than I love me. That was a
Good
big part
advice
of the
to
not
kind of
taking
keep
personally.
going. So what do you do now to get that energy, and what fills your cup now?
Family, my daughter, watching her grow up, enjoying the time with her.
Let's talk about that, because you're relatively new, Dad. How old's your daughter?
She's 2.
Is this a fun phase? Like, how is this kind of?
I think
put
they're all
everything-
fun phases. Days get long, nights get rough. Like shit's gonna be what shit is. Like there's just going. That's just the ebb and flow of life.
What music are you playing and instilling in her that hoping that she's going to
She
rock
loves
out?
Kendrick Lamar. Like
She does.
she I don't know who she hangs out with or where she picks up her music
All
preferences.
my life.
Yeah, no, she like TV off, not like us. She's got smoke for Drake, apparently. But I respect it. She kid
Are you
grew up
okay
in
with
LA.
that,
She's from LA.
Liz? Liz is such a Drake fan. I don't get it.
Love Drake.
I mean,
I'm
Liz
sorry.
is Miami, so she, of course, she's gonna love Drake. Like, you know,
No,
he's-
I'm in New York right now. Okay,
no, I mean, but your essence is Miami. So
Ooh. Wow. Shot through the heart and you're to blame.
This
Yeah.
is gonna. We might have to edit this
No,
because
we're not. We're keeping this in.
this is a shot to the heart. Like that.
Yeah, we
was-
were just talking to Janine Howard, and Liz and her were bonding about being from Brooklyn.
Now you're telling me I have Miami energy.
you know, from
like,
Brooklyn, I'm from Queens. No matter what, I'm Queens through and
Yeah.
through. Like that is an energy I maintain, and that she has that Brooklyn energy about her either. Like, I mean, like she had it at a point, but you
Oh.
are very much your paddle ball and your iced coffee, and the fact that you call it paddle
I
ball
see
and
it.
you don't call it pickleball, like it's
No,
it's-
Hold on, well,
First of all, it's Padel or
there you go.
Padel.
And there,
How
and there
Miami
is
of
proven
you.
the case.
How Miami of you. Way to pronounce that. Wow.
I know. All
This
right.
is like a good bagel.
What?
Ooh, we went to bagels.
Oh God, you know what?
Let's just ask right now, Jamal, what kind of bagel are you getting and what are you putting on your bagel?
Whole wheat
Mm.
everything. I'm not scooping it because I'm an adult and I earned every single one of these carbs. I am
Okay.
a scallion cream cheese guy, but if I'm feeling, especially New York, I will go lox, caper, and red onion. Not tomato though, because tomato dissolves its life.
Whoa. Barney's Green Grass or downtown at
Sons and
Daughters?
daughters.
I am H&H bagel to
Oh,
the heart,
okay,
but
Jamal, you are invited to Shabbat dinner.
When someone says H&H, I'm just gonna pull out that Seinfeld reference. No bagel, no bagel, no bagel. Don't worry, I'll put that in on the B-roll.
but I will
That's
go to
great
Russ
for
and Daughters.
striking outside of H&H.
Russ and daughters, though, here's the thing with Russ and daughters. Fabulous appetizing. You need to commit the morning.
Not
It's
always.
a lot.
Not always.
No?
No.
He knows people. Come on.
Oh.
He's from New
Look,
York, unlike
I've
some
not
people
done a
on this
Russ and Daughters
podcast.
line. I've not done a Russ and Daughters line, and anytime I'm in New York, it is
Oh,
mandatory.
don't rub it.
I mean, but some of us aren't Miamians, you know. I'm sure
Back
that
to the
you can listen
question.
to DJ Khaled's chicken
Oh.
spot every
Oh,
day.
yeah. That's right. Every time I'm like, Liz, you got to leave Liv. We got a podcast to
Oh,
record.
yeah, right. Because I'm really at live every week.
Just you and
So,
Lil Wayne,
Jamal,
just keeping it
You've
together.
worn a lot of hats. What is the biggest misconception that people have about A&R and the music business today?
I feel like A&Rs always had this difficult stigma because they're purveyors of taste first.
For all of our audience out there, A&R stands for Artist and Repertoire,
There we
correct?
go.
And as an A&R individual, it is your job to find new artists,
Of course.
new songs,
But it's more-
producers.
Cultivate, look, they're the first line of defense. They make the artist sellable. Product managers come in, they spit shine, and they refine product, but A&R is responsible for so much of that taste and tone. It's finding the music, but it's also like that shirt doesn't go.
You're sourcing, you're creating, you're almost producing the whole vision.
Yeah. And they touch every part of the product. I think the biggest misconception is that it's no longer necessary because so much product comes to the table with the feeling of fully baked, because we are very much in the DIY audience finding you phase or a stage.
Right.
It doesn't feel A&R is a necessary piece. And it still is. It's very crucial. Even if it's rough, there needs to be some refinement to the product.
If you were an A&R today, would you be looking at Instagram and YouTube, or would you be more about going to the shows and the festivals?
Instagram and YouTube first. I want to see what you bring out. I want to see how you make me feel. And then you go to shows. But that's the first line of defense. Before you get on a plane, let me hear your song and then decide if you're worth.
Which is so different, I guess, from earlier days of doing more scouting. I want to get back to home life, because you've been in these fast-paced environments. You're wearing all these hats. You're working with big talent. I'm sure it's very demanding. Now that you have this center and you have a family, how are you finding ways to recharge?
Yeah, I mean, even before family, before plants and dog and baby and all the things, probably the time around I started at E1, a series of moments and the understanding that it's just fucking music. Like, it matters. It's great. I love everything that music has provided and has allowed and been a part of me doing. It's just music. It's just entertainment.
Right.
And it's supposed to be fun.
Right. How are you still keeping it fun?
Reminding myself to enjoy it. Life in and of itself is fun. We live charmed existences.
I know. It's a good reminder, though.
I get to do the shit that I do. I get to enjoy.
All right, so what do you do right now?
I am a corporate free agent, so I consult.
Okay, well, what's the last email you wrote?
The last email I wrote was to a screen printing company about the jerseys for our men's league. For our men's basketball team. I'm coming from Martha Stewart's crown. I make jams. I make moisturizer. I put cinnamon and lavender and vanilla in trash cans to keep flies away. Ordinary green thumb. My yard is lush.
Really?
Oh yeah,
So this is totally your way you're recharging.
Yeah, and it layers into work because everything is marketing. You have to see the final. In planting a bush in my front yard, I don't just plant it because it's green. Marketing is seeing the vision. So much of it is building out what you see eventually happening. And there's some management still happening. Yeah. So I do get off my big picture corporate adjacent stuff and consult and talk to folks who want to do some things in their career, might not have the reach and ability. So
you're doing some consulting and navigating other talent.
Yes.
You mentioned vision, though. I want to know what's on your vision for your next 5 years or your vision board of life.
The center of it is family. being the best husband possible, being the best me possible, being the best father possible. That is the center of it. And everything branches out from that. When you take care of the shit that matters most, everything else just kind of falls into place. And
I like that.
yeah, it tends to work. And it's been,
And if it doesn't, just hit this.
there we go.
Very.
So my next 5 years are watching this toddler grow up into a little girl, enjoying that. It's more plants, it's more design. Maybe it's leaving the country and living elsewhere.
We want to get to our Schmooze Fest.
Schmooze Fest is where we do a rapid fire question, get to know more about you.
Let's do it.
Who's your favorite artist right now and of all time?
Right now, Pusha T, of all time, Jay-Z. Jadakiss bears mentioning.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Jadakiss, yeah, he was great.
Is great. Still is.
Yeah, I love that music when we were growing up. I really did.
Love it now. Great gym music, great driving music. It's appropriate amount of aggressive.
I mean, some of the songs that I sing in the car, just my mom's like, I can't even believe I let you listen to this shit. I mean, I'm listening to Rough Riders Down Bottom, so you can imagine.
Oh my God. Okay, wait.
That's a song about affirmation.
Oh,
do you fuck them until they come? Why would you do anything but fuck them until they come? What a silly question to ask.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
What's currently on repeat on your playlist?
Oh, I want to know this.
TV Off by Kendrick Lamar and Wheels on the Bus by Gracie's Corner. No in between. Zero in between.
That is
I love that.
list, I'll tell you that.
Okay. What's the best advice you ever received? And then what's the best advice you ever given?
The best advice I've ever received is to not take life too seriously. You'll never make it out alive. Best advice I've ever given is to love yourself first.
Speaking of loving yourself, what is your guilty pleasure?
I'm a Nene Leakes guy through and through. My biggest guilt, All American. That horrendous CW show. But it's terrifically horrendous. Exactly. And that's why it's a guilty pleasure.
Oh, okay, but I have to look it up.
Please.
I like the Nene Leakes. I love that Nene Leakes reference. Close your legs to married men. Okay.
I started watching during COVID, binge watched, and now I'm stuck.
Is it still ongoing?
They keep coming out with new episodes.
Oh,
and
okay.
I can't stick away that and anything in the Power universe.
Who's someone in the industry that doesn't get enough flowers?
The assistants, coordinators, anyone who shows up daily and makes less than 60K gets every single flower. They are the lifeblood of the industry. They are the front lines of connection. They are the first ones to get shit on. Layoffs happen, and that's usually where the cuts come from, because that 60K is going to help offset the 75 million you're in the hole.
That's good. I like that shout out.
What's your go-to when you feel a change is needed, or that, you need a break from reality? How do you go and reset yourself?
Homemade iced matcha latte and grounding in the backyard.
You do not do grounding.
I 100% do grounding.
Really?
Grounding sheets. I have a yard that backs up. Our property line is deep, so there's forest. We back up to a lake. I go outside. I get my feet in the grass. I breathe deep. I enjoy.
Oh, well, that was definitely now not my last question. What's your favorite flower to plant?
My azaleas are terrific.
I love that. We need a.
You gotta mulch. You gotta mulch.
You have to. You have to. I just spread some fertilizer on the grass. I'm not doing that Bermuda grass shit because I have pride. I have a rose of Sharon bush that's gonna grow into a beautiful tree. We're doing things.
Are you doing any herbs?
We're looking into it. The
Basil.
conditions have to be.
Yeah, basil, rosemary.
No. But I want to do a full, sustainable. What made me start making moisturizer and jams and our own almond butter and whatnot. There's bullshit in everything, so you might as well make it yourself.
The last jam you made?
The last jam I made, strawberry, just a straight strawberry.
Classic.
Yeah.
You said strawberries. How do you clean your strawberries? Because it's a big thing these days about cleaning strawberries. Do you put baking soda? Do you put white vinegar?
Who puts baking soda and vinegar in their strawberries? A couple of things. They like empty chemical reactions because baking soda and vinegar cancel each other out.
I know he's watching.
And they're bruising the strawberries. Fucking pointless. Vinegar in a bowl, cold water, plunge the strawberries, let the water wash over them, let it sit. Watch what settles in the bowl. Give them a rinse.
She'll never eat a strawberry again if she saw what settled in the bowl.
Oh gosh, no. It's frightening. It's frightening.
Cut the tops, guys, put them in the fridge. I don't need more anxiety.
You can only imagine the mites that are
on the floor. No, do not ruin it.
It looks like an episode of CSI.
I send her fucking shark videos. Don't go in the ocean.
Okay, wait.
You
All
are a
right.
Jewish
Now that
grandmother.
we
I
know,
love it. You are just like, you're every bit the Yiddish grandmother. You're a Yenta. I love it. It's like, don't go in there.
yeah,
I respect it.
exactly. Did
Oh,
you read about the sharks? And I'm like, no, I didn't read about the sharks enough.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I want to now move into one of my faves. This or that. Ready? East Coast summer or West Coast winter?
East Coast summer.
Ah, you know what? You're lucky you answered that
East
way.
Coast summer.
Okay.
That's
Sneak
undeniable.
sneakers or slides?
Sneakers.
Okay.
I mean, you know me. You know what that answer is going to be, Liz.
Right. Old school Rockefeller or early 2000s cash money?
Old school Rockefeller.
Okay. Major
I
label.
gotta get Jamal in the center of the screen because he's
Oh,
on the side. There you are.
there we
Oh,
go.
there. Sorry.
Okay.
I was letting you see the.
Okay. Major label machine or indie ecosystem?
Oh,
I
goodness.
know.
There's still so many things at a major label. You said this or that. Indie ecosystem.
Studio sessions or live show
We'll
energy?
save that extra Jamal for the Patreon.
There we go. Or the OnlyFans. Who knows? Um,
You know what? At the rate of this is
We
going,
were talking
all
about doing our own event. Just feed. Just
I
feed.
know how to
We just-
monetize. Live-
okay. Justin Bieber baby or Peaches era?
Baby.
Okay.
Baby.
Brunch with the crew or solo recharge day?
Solo recharge day.
Okay. All right, last one. Go with your gut or trust the data?
Go with your gut.
Yes.
Who the fucking lies?
For
What
sure.
an amazing end to this and that with Jamal. Trust your gut.
I like
Always.
it.
Always.
Our second to last segment is called Nosh of the Day. Nosh of the Day is a segment where we discuss our favorite recipes or our favorite new restaurants or our least favorite new restaurants and least favorite recipes. I'm going to start it off, then Liz, and then Jamal, so we can give you some time to think.
Okay.
Last night, I went to a new restaurant in Miami in Little River called Sonny's, which was considered the #1 new restaurant in the country. It was very, very good. We ordered everything.
Go. Yeah.
Really known for their steak. Their salad was amazing. Gem salad, outrageous. The pasta, outrageous. The ice cream sandwich, it was a total home run. And back to shit, it ended up in the toilet an hour later.
Oh.
I know, I'm sorry. It's just a lot of heaviness, but it's delicious going in.
I still want to go. All right. I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about mine because last night I went to my first WNBA game, which was incredible. Highly recommend it if you've never been. The energy was on another level. I'm totally hooked. But anyway,
Is
while
Big
we
Ellie
were,
not a phenomenal entertainer?
oh my God. You understand why she has such a social like media presence. She's so fun. She's getting the crowd going. She's got moves for days.
Oh, the elephant.
Yes.
Yes, she's
Yeah.
a major
Liz was courtside. She was.
I
know,
saw.
it
I
was
saw.
fun. It was fun. But anyway, the Crown Club there, I've been to before, but I guess I didn't realize it stayed open after the games and you get to go and eat the food. And I think it's the collab between the major food group and designer Ken Falk. I thought it was fabulous. So the
You
meatballs.
ate at the bar or you ate at this?
No, we had a table. So we got meatballs, fries, Caesar salad, just classic. The bartenders were great. Highly recommend. Okay, great. Jamal, I want to hear about what's your go-to? What's your fave?
My go-to in New York is Empanada Mama.
Great. So Empanada Mama, but what about where you live right now?
Yeah, we're going to Georgia to see you. Where are we going? Where are you taking us?
You're coming by the house, and I will cook.
What's on the menu? And tell me we're gonna have some sprinklage from your garden.
No from the garden because it's just grass right now. Eggplant Parmesan is phenomenal, like Michelin star
Ooh.
eggplant Parmesan. My wife prides herself because for the longest when we dated, I just didn't cook. I cooked for our first date, made cedar plank salmon, spinach, and all that, and then didn't cook again until we moved 5 years in. And now I cook all the time. And I make a phenomenal grilled cheese, according to her.
Now, for our last segment, mitzvah of the day, we like to end our episode with a little food for the soul. Jamal, what's one thing, big or small, you did or want to do recently that will make someone's day better? Besides being on our podcast. Thanks
Besides
for
just
coming
being my glowing self, I have retaken up the practice of leaving out shoes for others who will make use of them better than I will. Something that I did a lot leaving New York because I still have way more pairs than I have feet. Turns out only have 2 feet, more than 2 shoes.
Right.
So I just keep a couple of pairs in the truck and make it a point to leave a pair. And
I think
a
that's
little
such a
note,
great
and
idea.
let somebody
Paying it
stumble on them.
forward.
Yeah.
It's well, whoever comes across your sneaks are, those are some good
They
ones.
have, they have to be a size 13, but hopefully they can make some use of them.
Well, I think we're at our end of our journey here, Jamal.
So thanks for joining. Please subscribe. Remember, the hustle is real.
But the schmear is extra. Thank
Jamal,
you. Thank
bye.
you.
Everyone.